Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that, you've got your Justice card or Adjustment. This is the card that rules the sign of Libra. This is your superpower card, okay? This is your ability to be discerning. This is your ability right now to trust in your higher wisdom and discernment and make choices. I think you are evaluating everything in your life. I think that you're judging things. You're not their intrinsic value, right? Not their worth in and of themselves, but how they relate to you and to your life. You're saying no and yes to things for the right reasons, okay? Higher wisdom and discernment. You're able to assign different weight of value to different things. Well, that's more important to me. That holds more weight than this thing over here. Your love for your pets, your plants, your people, that holds a lot of weight, whereas your connection to other things, whatever they might be, right? We're sort of learning what's important to us, and we're understanding what holds more weight for us in our lives. Yeah. And I wonder if this is kind of an indication here that you're kind of taking your power here. You're taking your confidence, and something is about to shift for you. I think the world, let's put this card into some context. I feel like your world is about to shift big time. Let's see what else we've got. We've got a Prince of Wands. Got a Five of Cups. Princess of Swords. A Ten of Cups is what we're hoping for. And we have a Five of Cups. We want a Ten of Cups. That makes perfect sense. No half measures. And then, of course, with our Knight of a lot of court cards here too, right? Princess, a prince, and a knight. And the Knight of Pentacles looking at the future. I think we're imagining, we're seeing the new world unfolding before us. So big confirmation. Your world is shifting. Here we have a Five of Wands. We've got the Fool. The Fool is always the beginning of something, right? The Fool is always saying, I'm shifting, my life is shifting, and here I am on a new path with a new quest. We're free of something. We're free of something. There's a liberation happening, right? We have a Two of Wands and the Three of Swords. I think the way forward here is to realize what we have to let go of. We're letting go of something that has caused us some sorrow in the past. Okay, and I think that this is now us understanding the process of change on the mental plane. I feel like a lot of this, especially because we have the Princess of Swords and the Fool, and then the Three of Swords at the end here. The final outcome, I think, is you understanding the power of your own thoughts. This is the card that says, I understand the process of change on the intellectual plane. I know how my thoughts create my reality, And so I think if we want to change the world, we have to change our mind. We have to realize what things we've been telling ourselves, what things we've believed about ourselves or about the world, that are creating the world, kind of reinforcing that world, And let's start using this for the creation and the construction of a very beautiful, happy, satisfying, fulfilling reality. I think your world is shifting. I think your fortunes are changing big time. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card. Whoa, look at that. From the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right here. Cards are jumping all over the place. We're going to put Bubo, the mechanical owl, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments. Okay, now the card that jumped out is the Queen of Cups, and this is us searching for what really has meaning for us. We're searching for our cup, and you're sitting by the ocean of water. Unlimited water energy out there. You're just focused on what's in that cup. This is what means the most to you in life. Okay, and we're realizing that none of that other stuff matters. This is what I care about. This is who I am. This is what I want. And so sometimes the Queen of Cups is us going deep down into ourselves to realize, how do I feel and what do I want? What is my soul telling me? It's not surface level, right? The surface level of the water is just reflection. Just reflecting back at the world, whatever it's giving me. I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. My desires are just kind of everybody else's desires too. Simple, right? It's easy to live on the surface. The shallow end is different. It says, I'm going to pursue what feels good, and I'm going to avoid what feels bad, right? Very simple too. But the deeper we go, the more murky the water, the more we have to go through our own beliefs and values, our own self-talk, our own history, our own emotions, to find what really matters most to us. Who I am at the very bottom. What is my Ace of Cups at the bottom of this ocean? Okay. And down there, it's scary to go inside and find that. But we're going to emerge with a greater sense of purpose, a greater sense of satisfaction, a greater sense of happiness, because we found our true mission in life in a way, right? We're discovering what we truly, truly care about. And it's not always what the ego likes, right? The ego, of course, loves to stay on the surface of the water. You could just float there. Or the ego likes to just kind of swim around and have fun in the shallow end. That's where the ego's comfortable. Going down to the depths, it's dark. There's not a lot of light there. We have to bring our own light with us. It's cold, right? We have to be insulated against the coldness of the world, right? What else? It's risky, it's dangerous, it's uncomfortable. There are scary things down there that we don't really know until they get close enough we can see them. So the ego is kind of like saying, not a good idea. You know, to me, it takes a special person to do the scuba diving, like the deep sea diving. I've been reading some fiction books about the deep sea diving, and it's just, I love that because it gives me that really eerie feeling, you know. But down there is where you're going to find that magic. You're going to find what you really, truly are searching for in life. Metaphorically speaking, right? So I'm really happy that Queen of Cups jumped out at us. We have two major arcana energies. We have the Libra energy, right? The discernment, the superpower, your superpower to make decisions based on your true essence, your spirit. Basically, it's this. This is your significator card. This is going to be you discovering what you truly care about, and that's going to be the basis of your discernment and your decisions and how you're sorting and sifting through all the water to find your water. And that water is going to weigh more than all the gold in the world. Okay? And that's leading you to this Fool energy. You're starting that new life. You're saying, from this moment on, I'm creating my life in the way that feels right for me. Really, your world is shifting big time. Okay? So we have our majors. We've got fire and fire. We've got water and water. Of course, our little extra water there. More fire here too, by the way. We've got air and air. And we've got a little bit of earth. The little bit of earth is in the future position. This is the future looking at the future. So to me, it is an indication that, well, the details don't matter so much. In other words, it doesn't matter really what you're doing. At least from this point of view, from my point of view, there's not a lot of earth energy. It doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is why you're doing it and how you're doing it. What matters is that you are doing it. Okay? So whatever your future goals are, whoever you want to be, whatever you want to be, and kind of whatever you want to be doing, I guess, is really up to you. And we're making sure in this reading, I think, is sort of indicating this. The shift is coming because you are making decisions based on your higher wisdom and discernment, on your spirit, on your intuition, on your gut feeling, on your evaluation of your life based on your own truth. You've got an Ace of Cups here, you've got an Ace of Swords in this card. So to me, that is the purity of your heart and mind. And you're able to perceive your own light. And that's what's giving you this vision of your future. I think your future is looking very different. It's going to be a new journey. We're going to have to look. We don't know what the end goal is, right? When you look at this card, you can't see the summit of the mountain, can you? We don't know what the goal is, really. And that's okay. We're not even sure the road that we're going to take to get there. That's okay, too. The world is shifting. It hasn't been built yet. There is no path because you haven't forged that path yet. Okay? And I think that's what the Fool is doing. The Fool is setting out on this journey. You have a Prince of Wands right here in the middle. This is consistent effort and energy. Again, we have to be fortified. We're down here in the depths of ourselves, and we have to be insulated against the coldness of the world. In other words, the ego may feel cut off from people a little bit. The ego may feel as if nobody understands me. Nobody supports me on this path, right? It kind of feels like we're down here all alone in our own souls, in ourselves, in our own lives. And the coldness, right? We may not feel a lot of warmth and love and support from the people around us sometimes. We can't let that deter us. We have to be our own light and heat, right? This is a consistent fire energy. What is fire? Light and heat, creativity, attention, will, focus. We have to be all of those, and that has to come from inside. We can't expect anybody else to do that for us. We have to be okay. If it's cold, I'm the heat. If it's dark, I'm the light. Spirit, us, the big I, the big S, the big self, right? If it's dark, I'm the light. If it's cold, I'm the warmth. Yeah. And if things are tiring, I am the energy. Okay. And I think we need that sort of consistency and that reliance on ourselves if we're going to if we're going to harmonize with this shift, if we're going to be the facilitator of this shift. I think we've got to take the initiative now. We've got the Princess of Swords in the background here. I think that is us really searching for answers. And this may be intellectually. We've been looking for love in all the wrong places, right? We've been looking for our Ace of Cups, but we've been using our Princess of Swords. Maybe we've been entering into combination with a lot of different things, a lot of different ideas, a lot of different pathways that we've been kind of looking for the thing that really means the most to us. We've been very curious. Okay, the Princess of Swords is a learning energy. Okay, and to me now it also feels like it's a defensive energy. Feels like this figure's on their back foot in a defensive posture, trying to protect us now from any of that past stuff that's coming back at us. Okay. So I feel like there's something in the past that we're liberating ourselves, breaking away from, and we don't want it to happen again. We don't want to repeat that. Maybe we got involved. Maybe we spent a lot of time doing things that really didn't resonate with us. And now that we've got our higher wisdom and discernment, we know what we want to do with our lives, with our time, effort, energy, and money. And we don't want to go back to the same things that took up so much of our time previously, right? And so we have this Princess of Swords that's kind of the mental energy trying to fight off those old ghosts, those old patterns of behavior, those old kind of relationship patterns, trends, habits, that sort of thing. What we have underneath is the Five of Cups. We realize that the surface level and the The shallow end of the pool is where all the waves happen. Right? You may have a bunch of people that are swimming on the surface of the water, splashing around and doing all this stuff. You go all the way down and it's calm. It's cold and lonely and dark, but you're the light, so it's okay. But the turbulence isn't there. It's only in that calm stillness of the depths of ourselves that we will find the answer. We have to get past the swirling motions of the surface and the shallow end, right? When there's storms, that's where the storms are really going to affect the currents. And the currents are the emotions, the egos. I feel happy now. In 2 seconds, I'm going to feel miserable. Then I'm going to feel happy again, and back and forth, back and forth. And this is us trying to get past that. To feel our feelings, but to go through them to what's underneath them. To that pure place of spirit inside, right? And it's kind of like looking beyond just the turbulent fluctuations of our feelings and trying to understand what is the real message behind it. Right? What is this feeling telling me? I feel like this is down here in your gut. I feel like this is an uncomfortable feeling. It's the feeling of disappointment. It's the feeling of like my stomach's in a knot and I don't know why. It's the feeling of like something should be there, but it's not. And I feel that knot, right? And instead of ignoring this, I think you're looking at it. And you're understanding what this feeling is and why it's there. And you're trying to then judge it and gauge and use your higher discernment to see what is the message that it's telling you. Right? This may be the message that, well, the ego wants some ice cream, and so that has a little bit of weight. But then also, I'm trying to be, a healthy, active person, and so how much weight does that have? What holds more weight for you? Just as a silly example, right? From my own life, really. And so we're trying to understand what our feelings are telling us, because we can't change our feelings. We can indirectly change them, I guess. If we're feeling not so good about something, how do we change that? Well, we have to make a decision to do some kind of action or behavior, and then we'll feel differently. We can't directly change the emotion. We can't say, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm just going to will that feeling into contentment. I mean, we can try with our mind, but I don't think it works that way. We're feeling something, and that's the feeling. We can try to invoke a different feeling, but it takes an active process. We have to envision something, imagine something, do a mantra or something like to somehow invoke a contrasting feeling. We're not actually changing the feeling. We're just sort of pushing it aside and replacing it. But through our behaviors, we then can sort of check in with ourselves again and say, okay, now how do I feel? And so I think that we're learning how to give weight to our emotions, but not be ruled by just the reflective surface level or the shallow end emotions. Does that make sense? And of course, what we're hoping for is fulfillment, satisfaction. I want to take life with all of its fluctuating emotions. I want to always work toward a deeper satiety, satisfaction, a feeling of fullness, a feeling of being fully filled up. All my cups are filled. This is the ideal life. Okay? This is kind of like everything I want is coming true. Every desire I have is being filled, right? To the point where maybe I don't need desire anymore, It's in this case, it's a card that's contrasting with our Five of Cups. Five of Cups is saying something's not right. Something's missing from my life, and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm feeling a certain negative emotion here. What is it telling me? This is the feeling like there's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. Everything is, and this isn't just something we can will into being. I can't just say, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. It doesn't make it so, right? But in a way, it kind of does, and I think that's the irony here because of that Three of Swords. Thinking does make it so, but thinking has to lead to a change in our behavior, a change in action as well. Okay, we can shift our mindset, but that has to lead to a shift in a consistent way about how we're doing life, This is that card of contentment and satiety that says, right now, I don't need anything. Everything is fine. Everything's perfect. But really experiencing that, not just saying it's true. And maybe this is the idea that we have to practice this. We have to practice this kind of feeling of being fulfilled, this feeling of being satisfied with life. Okay? Even when we do feel fluctuating emotions, what we want is this overall sense of well-being. Overall, that I'm satisfied with life. Yeah, there's still challenges. Yeah, there's still going to be fluctuating emotions, especially on the surface and in the shallow end. But deep down, there's just a contentment and a peace, and I don't really need anything. I think this is the goal, I think, in a lot of ways for life. But let's talk about the path of the serpent. Now, as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subbed yet, please consider doing so. Your general energy is the Five of Wands. This is a wrestling with something, right? And it's down here with our Five of Cups. We feel a tension inside of us. Something is not right. This is saying my feelings are changing about something. This is saying my will, my action, my direction in life is changing. Right? That we're wrestling with our feelings and trying to determine what is the consistent way forward for us. We're trying to be discerning and understand. We're trying to pay attention to the tension that we feel inside and say, what am I going to focus on? What decisions am I making? Again, I feel like the world is shifting. This is the card of change. It's a 5. It's a very martial energy. It's showing that change is the only way forward. That right now your feelings are changing and your vision of life is changing. Okay? And then we understand that the way you think about yourself and the way you think about life is really an important factor. Okay? This is the Five of Wands is, well, it's a Saturn in Leo energy. It's talking about how we are channeling and directing, how we are disciplining our willpower and channeling it into things that have meaning and purpose for us. Again, using the wisdom and discernment. Choosing where to place my energy. Okay. And then the Fool, of course, the Fool in the environment, the Fool is liberated, the Fool has let go of the nonsense, and the Fool is embracing the uncertainty of the way forward. The Fool is having fun. The Fool is just kind of living life. It's kind of like when you have this higher wisdom and discernment guiding your choices, you're free to just enjoy every choice. You're free to enjoy every step of the way because you know that it was the right step, the right choice. So we're living a more contented life, even though there will be struggles, challenges, and we're going to sometimes make the wrong decisions and stuff, and that's okay. There was a time maybe where you were hard on yourself for making incorrect choices. Let's say we spend a lot of time in a relationship only to realize that was not the relationship for me. But then we sort of get down on ourselves because how could I have made such a mistake? The Princess of Swords is an energy that makes mistakes. This is a white belt. This is someone who's still learning. It's not an expert at life. There's no instruction manual. We are all going to make mistakes, some of us more often than others. But this is the freedom to make mistakes because we're still students. We're all fellow students. We're all fellow sufferers on this plane of existence. And we have to give ourselves and others the freedom to make mistakes. Now, other people make mistakes that damage my life or something. I don't have to associate with them. It doesn't mean we have to let people do that, You make a mistake, you pay the consequences for your mistakes, right? And that's part of our Libra energy too. Just because we are forgiving and we're tolerant of people's mistakes, we're not judging their value as human beings or as spiritual beings, but we are saying that, my mistakes have consequences, your mistakes have consequences too. And if you make certain kinds of mistakes, you're not going to be in my life anymore. I still think that I still respect you as a spiritual being. I still honor your energy, but I can't have it in my life. you know? And so that's the discernment. And that's the freedom to fail, the freedom to make mistakes, because we're all learning. Everyone's going to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that we have to keep that person in our life if they make too many mistakes of the wrong kind, right? So the Fool, I think, is representing our world shifting. I think that we're saying no, we're saying goodbye to things, and that's liberating. Because we're valuing something higher than other things or whatever from before, and we're valuing our own spiritual energy. We're valuing our own path and our future, and we want a different future. So we're happy with the uncertainty of what's ahead of us, because it's basically the Fool saying, I can create whatever I want, whoever I want to be, wherever I want to be, whatever I want to be doing. It's up to me. I can create that, you know. And that's what the Knight of Pentacles is looking at, this future that really is, I think, not clear. Because, well, we haven't created it yet. Okay, the Two of Wands is a kind of a frustration and anger, a clashing of wills that we don't want right now. This is the energy we're trying to avoid. I think you don't want competition. You don't want, if somebody is going to oppose you and there's going to be a battle, I'm just going to walk away. That's not what I want in my life. You know, I don't need it. I don't need this relationship that much where I'm willing to put up with that. You know, so we have this idea of a power struggle, a struggle for control. And I think from an ego point of view, well, no, I'm not going to let anybody, get one over on me. I'm not going to let anybody kind of take over, and I'm going to push back. I'm going to fight. The Five of Wands is reminding us that we don't have to, that we can just be done of things. We can be done of drama, of nonsense. We don't have to engage. And I think right now you're someone who does not want the frustrating, fighting energy, the conflict, the clashing of wills, the struggle for control of life, right? You would rather walk away and live your life free than have to fight against something or someone or some other energy. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you don't have any fight in you, but you're choosing your battles. Yeah. Which is, again, back to that higher wisdom and discernment. And now there is sorrow related to that. Going forward in this way, some of the things that we're letting go of, right? If we're realizing that I don't have to keep enduring the same kind of conflicts that I've been enduring, it's taking us away, it's taking us in a new direction. And maybe the Three of Swords is a feeling of loneliness. Maybe the Three of Swords is that feeling like I am in the depths of myself and it's cold and lonely here. And sometimes that's okay. And sometimes I just need to be the light and the warmth in my own life. Spirit is supporting you. And you're creating your own life. This is going to be a temporary thing. But this is also the card that says how I think about it and how I look at it is going to start shaping the reality. So for this card, because it is a card of kind of reliving traumatic events, and it can be a card of negative self-talk. It can be a card of sorrow and depression, right, of heartbreak and that sort of thing. Let's do a Language of Flowers affirmation card. And maybe even a botanical inspiration card. Because I feel like the right mindset is going to lead back to our forgiving of ourselves and our higher wisdom and discernment, right? So when we get to this point, we have to come back to the beginning and say, okay, I forgive what happened. I'm going to find my deepest values. I'm going to be discerning, and I'm going to be the light, and I'm going to be the energy that I need, and I'm going to continue going forward and creating my life. So your affirmation is compassion. Tread a little more tenderly. Be tender with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, right? We're not looking for that kind of a life. So we're in this compassion mode. We're treading more tenderly with ourselves. And that primarily is how we think about. What are the words that you tell yourself? What are some of the things that you're constantly saying to yourself or in your head or out loud? Okay, let's do the botanical inspiration card. The pink rose, grace and sweetness. The pursuit of perfection is the pursuit of sweetness and light. Well, that's our 10 of Cups, isn't it? that we're looking for a more compassionate, a more loving, happy, satisfied. We don't want this cutthroat, struggle, conflict-oriented, competition kind of oriented life, right? We want the compassion, the tender sweetness and grace. And that is the world that is the world you're shifting into. Let's look at the mystery card. What is this going to be? Well, maybe a 9 or a 10 of cups, maybe some pentacles. It could be the Empress, it could be your Justice card again, could be the Wheel of Fortune. Let's see what we have. Oh, look at that, Wheel of Fortune. Yes, of course. This is the card of divine timing. This is the card of your fortunes changing. It may feel like we've been at the bottom of the wheel, between the rubber and the road, And that's kind of like this. We're getting ground down by that kind of the conflicts of life. This is telling me that your world is shifting. Your fortunes are changing. And you're changing that, and I think Spirit is conspiring to help you. I think the universe will place the right people, places, and things on your path. As you start this journey with a kind of a freshness, a renewal, we let go of a lot, and we're just kind of, we're open and receptive to what's coming next. I think Spirit is going to put the right things, the right resources in front of you. Yeah. This is the card of divine timing. Yeah. This is the card that most people call luck. Things, I've got a lot of green lights on the road today. That was luck. I hit the hole in one. That was luck, I think the universe is giving you a lot more green lights. And that's part of our discernment. We don't want to go toward the red lights. We want to go toward the green ones. This is the red lights. This is the big stop sign, right? It's the red light. We don't want that. We want green lights. So we're going to go on the path where Spirit will give us green lights. If Spirit's giving us a red light, it means stop. This was the wrong street to turn down. Let's back up. Let's go the other way. Go toward the green lights. Go toward the compassion, the tenderness, the grace, the sweetness. That's where your path will unfold. That's the journey that the Fool will take. We've got to follow the signs and symbols and synchronicities that lead us on the breadcrumbs of green lights, right? If we get a red light, that's fine. We just turn around and go the other way. We're not avoiding conflict. We're choosing to pick our battles in a way that it resonates with our heart and our soul a little bit more. And Spirit will confirm things for you as you go. I love this reading for you. I think this is wonderful. We're going to do an extended reading too. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top and there is a link down below. New readings for Libra on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.